So from that perspective, when we think about speech, when we think about giving our word, when we think about vow, when we think about make your word count, when you say something, make sure you're good for it, has to do with keeping the vibration of your word sacred. This is commentary on Parashat Matot, on the very powerful declaration and mitzvah, actually instruction by the Torah. And I'd like to start by just going right to it. And here we go. וידבר משה אל ראשי המטות לבני ישראל לאמור. And Moses spoke to the heads of all the clans, to the people of Israel, saying thus, זה הדבר אשר ציווה אדוני. This is what God had instructed. איש כעידו נדר. Any man who makes a vow, לאדוני, to God, or הישבע שבועה, or swears makes a promise, לאסור איסר, to avoid something, to take on some kind of abstinence, al nafsho, for himself. This is right now actually specifically referring to male persons. Later on it's going to refer to female, but right now this is about men. Lo yachel devaro. And here's what gets interesting. His word should not be made mundane. Yachel is from, as Rashi will tell us in a moment, is from chol. Chol is mundane, chol and kodesh. So kadosh and chol. Kedusha and chol. Right? So yachel devaro. His word should not be diminished to triviality. All that comes out of his mouth, he should fulfill. And that's a statement, it's a powerful statement. So what's the question that comes up with this? And off the top of my head, what's so important about words? What's so important about giving one's word, making a promise, making a vow? I mean, it's just words. They say that sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never harm you. Really? According to Torah. So let's jump in here. Obviously, the Slonimer is going to take this a level deeper, and let's see what inspiration and teaching we can take for our own lives. ורש"י, לא יחל דברו כמו לא יחלל דברו. So Rashi, the 11th century commentator, said, well, לא יחל דברו means לא יחלל דברו. What I just said, that means do not trivialize your words. לא יעשה דבריו חולין. Don't make your words diminished. ומקשים בזה על אומרו בלשון לא יחל דברו. שהיה צריך לומר לא יעבור על דברו. And there's a question here of why does the Torah say לא יחל דברו? Why does the Torah even go there? Don't make your words mundane. it should have logically said, do not fall short on your own word. Because that is what the Torah ends with. I mean, the sentence ends with, everything that you say, you should fulfill. So what's this thing about making your word mundane? It shouldn't be saying that, right? And obviously, as we've said before, the Torah doesn't say anything randomly. There's no, Torah it's not redundant, or Torah is not casual, trivial, right, in its own words. So the Slonimer is asking, well, why does it go to don't make your word mundane, and then it says don't fall short on break your word. So let's see where he goes with that. But I'm curious. I want to do a little thought exercise with you. Well, what is it? What is the difference between a mundane word or a trivial word and perhaps a sacred word or a word of honor? What is the difference? One could make the claim that there is no difference. A word is a word. In fact, we're living now at a time where the modeling from on high is that word doesn't have any meaning at all. So this is so apropos, actually, this this parsha, that what the parsha is presenting about the power of word is, I think, a lesson and a beacon of light, in my opinion, at a time where the power of word is being so eroded, right? Right in our faces. So in that context, let's dig deeper and see what kind of light and inspiration we can take from the real wise words of the Slonimer. ויש לומר העניין על פי מה שכתב רבנו יונה. And we should approach this from the perspective of the words of our Rabbi Yonah in Mishnah, in Avot, Perek Aleph. And it says this, כי יהודי המקדש את פיו נעשה פיו ככלי שרת. When a Jew, a person, sanctifies his mouth, his or her mouth, his or her mouth become a kli sharet. Kli sharet means a sacred implement, as of in the Holy Temple. So in the Holy Temple, they had different implements. They had, for instance, they had pans for the different sacrifices, and they had tongs, and they had, different things that they used for the ritual. And he says, so a person's mouth becomes as if it was a sacred pan in the temple. וכשם שכלי שרת מקדש את המנחה המונחת בתוכה, and just like a sacred pan in the temple sanctifies the offering, whatever it is, food, bread, meat, whatever people are bringing, that is placed in it. So think about this. I bring a piece of steak that I could barbecue anywhere else and it would be just food. But the minute I put it in that pan, it takes on a whole different meaning, which is the meaning of a sacred object. כמו כן, על ידי דיבור שיהודי מוציא מפיו שהוא ככלי שרת. And in the same way, when a person utters, when a Jew utters words, those words become as if the person's mouth becomes as if a sacred pan in the Holy Temple. נוצרת מציאות חדשה של קדושה ונדר, and a whole new reality is being created of sanctity and vow. You see, this is transforming reality from the mundane to the sacred. And the reason of why the mouth of a person from all the other organs of the body becomes like a sacred implement. We can understand this through a quote in Isaiah. I have created this people so they should speak my praises. This is God speaking. So what the Slonimer understands from this is that the whole purpose of the creation of the people of Israel is that they should say divine praises. So you see here the qualification, the kind of up-leveling of speech from trivial speech to speech of a whole different vibrational level, a whole different quality. This is holy speech. I just read that. Such that they should speak before the Holy One words of praise and adoration. So that in itself is an interesting take. You know, the power, why does God need us to, to appraise God? God, you're so great. God, you're so amazing. God, you're so powerful. Does God need that? Do we need that? What is that all about? There's no simple, reasonable, really, simply digested answer to that. But let's, for the sake of discussion, just take that on faith. So Israel, we're all created. And when I expand Israel, I like to expand Israel to all spiritual seekers, all people who have a soul who is looking for spiritual connection, spiritual flow with the Holy One, with the higher realms, are destined to speak words of praise and adoration. וכיוון שזוהי תכלית הבריאה, על כן הפה הוא כלי שרת שמיוחד לצורך גבוה. And since this was the purpose of the creation, this is what we're here for. Therefore, the mouth serves as a sacred vessel for a higher purpose. Now, let's let this sink in, because there's something very, very powerful about that. Let's assume that God doesn't need those words of praises at all. Who then needs words of praises? And why are we created for that purpose, for elevating speech to a higher level? I want you to think about self-esteem for a moment. What is the conversation you and I have in our head whenever things go wrong? And I want to suggest, I'm reading an amazing book about this called, let me actually plug it, it's called by John Wellwood. It's called Perfect Love, Imperfect Relationships. And he talks about the role of self-esteem as a block to connecting with the ocean of love that truly our psyches live in. So imagine that we are, our environment, the air we breathe, as it were, on a psychic level, is love. And that love is, to be a little simplistic here, but yet I think it stands strong. Yet God is love, God is ahava, And we're swimming in this ocean of love, but we don't know it. Why do we not know it? Says John Wellwood and many of the great Rebbes in our tradition and many traditions, is because we're blind to it because of the conversation in our head. It's not a loving conversation. We don't talk ahava. We're not in the mantra, in the mental exercise or heart exercise, both, the mind exercise of focusing on love. So we have lenses that are obscured. It has to do with self-esteem. We focused on the half-empty cup. We focus on our troubles, not to say that we shouldn't, but we over-focus on our troubles in a way that obscures the greatness that is God, which is the greatness that is us, which is the ocean in which we swim. It's the fluids, harachaman, avarachaman, the rechem, the womb one Father, within which our psyche swims. If we saw the reality of love we swim in, we would be speaking words of adoration and praise and love. It's like whispering to your lover how much you're infatuated with her or him. We'd be doing that with God all day long. So the trick to develop that capacity is to recite words. It's like mantras. It's like a mantra meditation. Recite words of adoration and praise. And that is what we were created for, according to the Slonimer. And we find that most of divine service or most of spiritual practice actually is done through what? Through speech. I'll say that again, most of the way we develop ourselves, most of the way we practice, most of the way we work towards building the capacity to be in the fullness of our purpose is through speech. Limud Torah sheyidu mechuyav la'asok ba, the study of Torah that a Jew is destined to immerse in. As it says, and you shall contemplate it day and night. And also prayer. Sacred verse is through the mouth. So from that perspective, when we think about speech, when we think about giving our word, when we think about vow, when we think about make your word count. When you say something, make sure you're good for it. Has to do with keeping the vibration of your word sacred. Where are the days when my word is gold? If I said something to you, you can count on it 100%, because if I retreated one iota, that would be desecrating what I am all about. That's the power of the word. This is so critical to advertise as an antidote to a practice that is really mundane and profane, isn't it? That's certainly my opinion and my gut feeling. We're living in a time where the sanctity of the word is challenged. Last lesson we talked about new norms, and the new norm is not a Torah norm, it's not a spiritual norm. It's a norm that we need to change by taking heed The Torah is reminding us about something wonderful, some amazing potential that's in us, and that's the power of speaking and following through. Talking and walking my talk. I'm Rabbi Reuben Modik with Hebrew Learning Circles and Makom Halev community here in Nyack, New York. Thank you for being here for this lesson today. Please like us if you're inspired and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You click on that red button below that says subscribe. That's all you need to do. Doesn't cost you anything. Thank you. Let's keep the conversation alive. Comment. Would love to hear your opinions. Let us keep connecting on this cyber yeshiva. For now, I want to wish you an amazing day. Shalom.